This is the Raising Karter podcast, and I am your host, Ramon Weatherall Sr. And the Raising Karter podcast, I know. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The Raising Karter podcast is a podcast dedicated to fathers with sons that are concerned with their future, their health, their happiness, and they just want to be more locked in. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I got a question for you guys. I want to ask you guys a question. Are you your son's friend or are you his daddy? You heard me right. I said, are you his friend when he describes you? Does he say, "Oh yeah, that's my dad's my best friend," or does he say, "Yo, that's my dad. That's my dad. That's my daddy right there." Because I bring all this up because if you are a fan of this podcast, if you follow this podcast, you're probably also a sports fan. And the John Morant situation, the John Morant situation. And I know when you first heard it, just like me, we were like, man, what's up with his dad? You know, why isn't his dad, getting this locked in, getting this the first incident that we heard of? Why, now you got another incident. And there are allegedly more 4 or 5 other incidents that it's like 6 incidents altogether. And let's not get it twisted. I don't want to get it twisted that his dad got him to where he's at. He got him to where he's at. Nobody was trying to recruit John Morant. His dad worked with him, got him at least a look so he could go to that small college. And then once he got there, of course, he did his thing. But we can't take that away from him. But are you his friend or are you his father? Because a lot of times I seen videos where you would see his father with him and he looked just like one of the boys. He's right he's right in there with the fellas with one of the boys. You can't tell the difference. And I think it's when it gets to that point, it's too late. It's too late. I mean, I was watching maybe a documentary on him, John Morant, and he was talking about his father was talking, and he was saying that Ja really didn't respond well to him, really getting on them, the tough love, riding them, just being hard on them. But his sister, she is no problem with her. She like bring it on. She said it herself, like that don't bother me, but Ja it bothered him. So I think his dad was like, "This is not working. I want to try to be more of his friend," and maybe that worked a little bit better. But we got what we got now, and a lot of times when anytime, like I said in episodes before, a few episodes before, when your son does something wrong, the first thing they gonna ask or up in, they're gonna ask where you at. And that's what people are asking. That's what people are saying. Where is his daddy? Where is his daddy? And I got a couple clips to prove that to you. People with large platforms are saying things like this. Check it out.
His daddy, I'm mad. And you know what? I'm mad at his daddy.
But I'm telling you, this is the culture without a father. Now, without a father having an impactful influence. But I'm going to go to what Stephen A. Smith said, because I think, like I said, a broken clock, he's right twice a day. Wrote a clip.
Look in the camera and say what I'm about to say to Ja Morant. You are a superstar. You're 23 years old. You got a deal that kicks in next year that could exceed $231 million over the next 5 years. And on this show, on national television, there's you associated with police. Think about that for a second. And then ask yourself, is it really, really worth it? You know the answer to that, bro. It's not worth it. You can't have stuff. And last but not least, his dad, to T. Morant. Nothing but love and respect for you, sir. You are his daddy, not his friend. His daddy. I'm not saying you can't be friends, but you're his father. And so when we see this kind of stuff going on, all of y'all get lumped in because it ain't just a 23-year-old Ja Morant that needs to protect himself. It's all of you who love him, who want to protect him, who wishes for the best for him. You have an obligation to look out for him too.
His daddy be coming to the games. Bro, what are you doing? His daddy dressed like a hip-hop star too. Man, raise your kid before he fumbled the bag.
And that's what a lot of people are saying. That's what a lot of people are saying. Is that 100% right? I'll probably say 75% right, you know. But we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know what his dad is telling him behind closed doors. But once you become more of a friend than a father, what you say has less push, has less power behind it. And that's the thing. And let's keep it real, man. He's taking care of the family. Josh taking care of the family. He bought his mother and father and his little sister a mansion. He's the breadwinner. You know? So I mean, at this point, what can you say? And especially when you have taken on a role of just being the big homie, or just being a friend. You out partying with them, you kicking it. Oh, bruh, you kind of asking for it. And let's not forget his mother. The incident in the shoe store. She goes into the shoe store, gets into it with the salesperson, and she calls one of the NBA's biggest young stars, probably the biggest young star in the NBA, to come down and deal with some mess with a salesperson at finish line. He should have told his mama, "Don't call me for this mess no more. Don't call me for this. Leave the store. Tell store security, but don't call me." People thought LeBron James was wrong back in the day when he told his mama to sit her ass down. No, he wasn't wrong. He was right. And that's the same thing Ja Morant should have told his mama. Get out of that store. Why are you in that store? Acting a fool or whatever. You don't like the service, leave. But don't call me. And he's a fool for coming down there. So a lot of the problem with him, obviously, is his family. And no matter if they give him 20, 25 games, 50 games, a full season, he needs to get away from his family for a little while. So that post that he wrote, that story, that post in his stories talking about bye, he should do that. He should get away from his family a little while. Not his daughter, that's his responsibility. But your mama, your dad, all them, they need to live life without him for a while. And he needs to get his stuff together. So, fathers, remember, you are not your son's friend. You are way more important than that. Y'all can have friendly moments and have fun together, but you way more important than that. You are way more important than that. And when he does something wrong, they're going to ask where you at. It all falls back on you. It all falls back on you. Now let's listen to some more of this this video that I got with Officer Tatum. I don't agree with everything he says, but He has good points. That's another thing. You don't gotta agree with everything somebody says. You don't have to follow behind someone blindly to hear what they gotta say. To hear what they gotta say. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what no man tells me. Everybody was given a brain, and sometimes, they have viewpoints, but they can't have, right things to say. And some of the things he's saying in this clip, I agree with. Same thing with Stephen A. Smith. You might not agree with everything he says, but what I do really disagree with is when people say, "Well, I don't condone what he's doing, but I don't think he should get this or that punishment." That's what got him in his trouble now. Look, if you do something wrong, you get punished for it. That's what got his butt in this situation that he's in right now. People that think just like you. People think just like you, JJ Reddick. People who think just like that. No, you can't, man. Look, if you do something wrong, you got to pay for it. Did he do something wrong? It doesn't matter if it's legal or not. Legal matters and all that. It doesn't matter. When somebody's trying to give you the bag, trying to hand over the NBA to you, you can't be running around with guns. It's common sense. You don't own the NBA. You don't own it. The owners own it, and they trying to hand it over to you, and they don't want some person acting like they some little gangster in the streets, being the face of their league that they make money off, that they have to sell merchandise and tickets off, and they have to get people to watch so they can pay you. That's what they don't want. That's why, it may not be illegal, but it's a business. I'm trying to make money. I can't make money if people don't respect my product.
Your kid has pushed the eject button on the bag. He got a bag of money and he threw it out the window. To ride with his homies, flashing a gun on Instagram Live. I don't even know what to think about this. Why are black youth, and it's not everybody, right? There's a lot of guys in the NBA that are just fine. They'll never be stupid enough to flash the gun on IG Live. But why are young black men doing this? And we can't say, oh, it's just they're young. Well, I ain't never seen a white guy and white kids in the car doing this and flashing guns. Well, you show me an NBA player and I'll shut up. I'll give you $100. I'll send it to you on Zelle. You show me, I'll give you $100 for anybody that can show me a white player doing what we see Ja Morant doing. And then therefore the question is, why is it that young black men are in this culture? In a culture, and we always cry about generational wealth and other. Man, you know how set his family would be at 195 million?
Let me stop it right there. See, that's why I say I don't agree with everything, that brother said. Because first of all, the NBA is like 80% black. And we talking about one guy that's doing stuff like this. This ain't a group of people. This one guy who's doing this. Okay? So don't group all black players in there. This one guy. Who else is running around with guns and doing stupid like this? Name another player that's doing that. No, they ain't doing that. They trying to get paid. Okay? Whether they love the game or not, or whether they, the greatest player or not, this is one guy. This is one guy who's making this mistake. No, don't put all black players in this. That's a person that's trying to push their agenda right there. No, it don't got nothing to do with everybody. I watched the NBA for years. The last guy who did this was Gilbert Arenas. So stop that. That's why you gotta watch and decipher what you listen to, because a lot of people they like to push their agenda. This is one guy who's doing this, one black player. Not every black player is doing this. Now let's check out this last clip, what Stephen A is talking about.
On Ja Morant, behavior detrimental to the league, best interest of the game. Those two clauses that are relevant here. Public perception is also important. It is not a right to play in the NBA. It is a privilege. Because the NBA was so lenient in the first incident, a strong message must be sent to Ja Morant, his family, and his boys. Minimum half-season suspension without pay. And if continued misbehavior exists, potential loss of his guaranteed extension. Also, as gambling becomes more profitable as a source of revenue to a league and its teams, players' character and the quote-unquote integrity of the game will be tested and become a more public issue. So the message of prevention of an outside force ever negatively affecting the outcome of a game must be delivered emphatically.
And I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. All these people that want to bring up, it's not illegal for him to have a gun. It's not. They just said it right there. They're trying to protect the integrity of their league. Basically, what they're saying is they're trying to keep the money coming in. And you not going to get in the way of that. Because the league doesn't need you. You need the league. And that's what we have to let our sons understand. The world isn't all about them. It's not all about you. When you walk into a job or you walk into school or you walk into any type of organization, if they have rules, you need to follow them. If not, then don't go there. I hate people that say, they're at work and they say, I really don't want to be here. Oh, I hate this place. Then stay home. Don't come here. Don't come to work. If you don't want to do what your employer asks you to do, don't come. Start your own business. Start your own league. And when you do, you're going to have things that you want the people that work for you or the people that are in your organization to do. I'm sure if you join the big three, Ice Cube don't want you walking around with guns and stuff like that. He going to check you for that too. You're like, no, man, you can't do that here. So, fathers, help your sons understand that if you want to be a part of something, when they sit you down and tell you these are the rules and regulations, right then and there, you have to understand and you have to be a young man or a man and tell yourself, okay, I want to do this or I don't want to do this. I want to stay and get paid for my services or I'm out the door because I don't agree with this stuff. But you can't have it both ways. You can't do what you want and then expect somebody to pay you your money. Nah, man. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And I see the last thing I want to see. I seen some foolishness. I didn't even, uh, download the videos like Jason Whitlock and his pure hatred for Allen Iverson, saying Ja Morant is acting like Allen Iverson and rap music, and Tupac made him do everything. Ja Morant probably don't even listen to Tupac, and I don't know. He might have been an Allen Iverson fan. His dad probably was. I don't know, but those are two different individuals, and that's some more crap that agendas people try to push down your throat. Allen Iverson and Ja Morant are two. Allen Iverson didn't grow up with a father and mother in the same house, and his father didn't work with him on basketball and all that stuff. You talking about two different guys, two different men. Yeah, Allen Iverson wasn't perfect, but you talking about two different men, and you got a guy who, I don't know, seems like he's jealous or just likes to push his hatred for black men or whatever it is. But there's two different individuals, individuals. See, I'm rocking the Allen Iverson legends, the legend line, because he was a legend. He was a legend. He's not Ja Morant. He's not Ja Morant. You know, and I'm not condemning Ja Morant. He's just a young man that needs to grow up. But the two people aren't at similar at all with the way they grew up, the way they, Allen Iverson really was from the streets. You know, he was from the streets. He grew up poor. He grew up with nothing. He didn't have a father. Allen Iverson's mother didn't even care about him playing basketball until coaches told her, "Look, your son can really do something. You need to start paying attention." Ja Morant's parents were with him his whole life, still with him. Whatever I say about him, whatever you say about him, they still right there. So Jason Whitlock, man, you can go on somewhere with that. We know what's up with you. We know that you just don't like the man, and that's all good. People don't like you, but no, don't you can't compare the two. So, dads, be your son's father, not his friend. Don't blow the bag. Don't blow the bag. And another thing, once your son becomes grown, for all these people that say, "Oh, well, my son gets older," like Officer Tatum, all these people, do you have an adult son? Because once your son gets grown, they're grown. They're gonna do the things they want to do. There's nothing really more that you can tell them. The only thing you have on your side once your son is an adult is the fact that they have in their minds that they don't want to disappoint you or they don't want to let you down. They don't want to embarrass you. That's the only thing you got going for you. All this stuff that you think you can still tell your sons what to do once they're grown, man, that's some BS. You are living in a fantasy world. All the work you done has to be done before they hit 21 and they out of your house. If you haven't done it by then, it's too late. It's too late, Dad. So that is the episode, this week's episode of the Raising Karter podcast. I am your host, Ramon Weatherall Sr. I hope you guys like this podcast. I know a lot of the fans of the Raising Karter podcast are sports fans, so I try to bring that in there, bring that element of sports and entertainment, because I'm a sports fan, but I know you guys are too. This podcast is for you. So, dads, be a father, not a friend to your sons. And that is this week's episode of the Raising Karter podcast. If you like this episode, share it on social media, like it, comment on YouTube, support the podcast, because we are here for you. And I want to tell you, peace.